Hey guys, Sean from Cycle World here. Here at California Superbike School, we're doing levels 3 and 4. Did 1 and 2 in Coda a month or so back. Had a very, very wet time, which was actually really awesome, but not the best for learning. This time brought some buddies with me so we could share at being slow and feeling bad at stuff together. It's always cool, you know, you get to grow over different areas in your riding, but trying to do it all together. So just finished our first session, about to head back into the classroom, and we'll see what we learn today.
Most of them I'd met at the Laguna Seca round of World Superbike. We'd ridden kind of some street stuff since then, but they love riding. They all text me questions and want to pursue it and want to know about bikes. So I knew that for them, like a school would be a really neat experience, especially from me trying to tell the story of evaluating it. They're in a different place in their riding than I am. And even in them, there's variance in their abilities. So it'd be a neat way to look at how everyone sort of took to the different coaches in the program of the school and to see if people grew or not. Basically, there are 3 components to the school. There's a classroom session, there's a riding session, and then there's a one-on-one coach breakdown. And they break it down using science, you know, why they decided this was important, the technique, and there are usually 5 full rounds of that a day.
How do you guys feel? Good. Feel really good. I'm so tired.
To see them all make breakthroughs and to talk to them and to be able to have conversations. And it was cool that even by the first half of day 1, I didn't have to like prompt them to talk about the riding school for bits for the story. Like they wanted to talk about like, oh, in turn 5, like, what are you doing here? And I'm doing this, and oh, that really helped. And it was really cool to like make that the goal of it and to really pursue that together. I remember one of the things specifically with Justin in particular was he kept saying, I want to get my knee down, I want to get my knee down, I want to get my knee down. I could keep trying, and he kept talking about like hanging off, and I was like, Justin, you don't get your knee down by trying to get your knee down. You get your knee down by riding well and riding fast, and it's like a byproduct of it. And like you need to focus on your body position and focus on your lines and your corner entry, and it'll happen. But like if you try and hang off your bike like a monkey, like you're gonna feel awkward. It's not gonna work. And he was just like, yeah, cool. And so, you know, we go through the day, and we go through the first day, and he finally gets it down. And I'm like, oh, you know, awesome, what happened? He goes, yeah, man, the coach was saying, you know, just like stop hanging off your bike so much. And I was just working on like, you know, nailing the apexes and like going in smooth, and like it just happened. And he goes, you know, you think it's about like trying to hang off, it's really about just like your lines and stuff, and like, you know, just taking your lines faster. And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, that's a good insight. Jesse was another one. Sorry, Jesse. He was just so stiff when we showed up. He was so stiff on the bike in his movements, and when he would lean, he was so stiff. And by the end, he didn't even actually get a ton of speed, but he just had this like flow and this like level of comfort. But he actually probably was the most improved from like first lap on the track in Las Vegas to like end of completion or 2 weeks later. At the end of the event, I asked him, you know, like, was the school worth it? Is it worth people coming to spending their money? And he was one that was like 110%, like absolutely every day, like this is the best thing I've ever done. I could really see how like I could go back a dozen times because they're so good at diagnosing what you're doing. Like my rider coach, he'd be able to come in and say like, on this turn, you're not going to full lock on the throttle. They're so aware of what you're doing on the bike while they're following you at speed. It's incredible. It really says a lot about their design of their program that they're able to take a guy like Jesse, who's fairly new and fairly stiff, and really, I mean, grow his skills in massive amounts and in a way that he feels good about. He doesn't feel coddled or anything. He feels good about, and do the same thing to a guy who's, you know, does 10 track days a year. Like there were guys out there taking the school that were pretty crazy fast, and they were learning and as engaged as anybody else was. The main reason to go to school, obviously, is to learn. I pretty firmly believe that this school is the best of the riding schools, at least that I've been to, and that if you go, you will learn more in a shorter amount of time than you can in any other way possible. That is the most important part of this entire experience. If anything, the way that we did it, going with friends, it adds to the learning, but it also just makes it so much more fun and special.
All right, wrapping up day 1. What'd you just do?
I just got my knee down.
For the first time?
For the first time, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
What?
I know it's not, like, the last time I went to Laguna Seca, I was like literally trying to jump off my bike to scrape my knee. But once I kind of focused on the technique and hitting the axle point and getting my body off but keeping my bike up, and just kind of picking up the pace, but it was all about the line.
Tomorrow you're gonna be scraping left and right. You're gonna feel. You
Really
came bounding over here like.
It feels good accomplishing a goal.
Yeah.
But it also, I like this school because they ask you before you go around the track, what are you working on?
Yeah.
What are you working on? Like, wouldn't that be amazing if you woke up every day of your life and you turned to somebody and they were like, what are you gonna work on today?
Hey,
like, what are you gonna work on
I'm
today?
sure
Does
Siri
Brett
has.
do that?
I'm sure
Does
Siri.
Brett do that to you? Like,
I wish.
Sean, what are you gonna work on today? You're gonna be like,
That's what I have Siri for.
I'm gonna work on looking more handsome today. Which isn't possible. I'm
Okay,
gonna work on
okay.
having better looking hair today.
So, for tomorrow,
fucking good. How does your hair stay up like that, dude? Because
you're so far off the rails.
You wore a helmet all day today, and mine's like.
Well, listen, I'm a professional. This is what I do. Is I look good after wearing a helmet.
Yeah, well, I need my hair and makeup.